Hello everybody, this is Shirley with So Too We Begin Embroidery. Thank you for stopping by. Today I'm just going to do a quick little informational video. Not going to do any demos or anything. I just was thinking about the upcoming live stream that's going to be on Tuesday, March the 14th, starting at 8 p.m. Uh, Hopefully we'll be able to go for 30 minutes to 45 minutes, just depending upon how many people actually participate and how our conversation is going. It's just going to be a meet and greet, get to know each other, and celebrate the fact that I'm going to be doing live videos. But the thing that had me thinking in preparation for that is to put some questions out there for you. What I'm going to discuss today is information that I want to share about my experience with embroidery. And while I'm doing that, perhaps you can think about your experience. I'm going to talk about 5 of the things that I did, that I consider that I did that was wrong when I first started embroidery, and 5 of the things that I did that I thought was pretty good. So with that, let me start off with number 1. Number 1 is, and this is for the things that I think that I did wrong. I would do those 5 first, then I'll do the ones that I think that I did right. And number 1 for what I think I did wrong was not to do my research about an embroidery machine. I mentioned on, I believe, my introductory video way back when in 2020 when I first started this channel, and talked about why I got into embroidery. And I got into embroidery mainly out of love for the way embroidery looks. I've always loved embroidered shirts, monograms, anything that had embroidery on it, I thought was absolutely beautiful. So I just fell in love with embroidery. And I did get an embroidery machine, a Singer Futura, I believe, I would say close to 20 years ago. And I never used it. And I got it free. I got it as a bonus gift with the job that I had, where you could collect points, and with the points that you get, you can buy certain items. And I chose the embroidery machine, and I had all of these wonderful thoughts of things that I was going to do. And I don't even remember how we got the design into the machine. I think for some reason it seems like it was a disc or something. But anyway, I never used that machine. When I moved away from Florida a couple of years ago, I pitched it because I tried to start it up and see what I could do with it, and it was so obsolete. I wasn't going to spend the time, energy, or money to get it up and running, and I just decided to let it go. I was packing and everything. So anyway, I just got rid of it. And never thought about embroidery in between that time that I got it and up to 2020. 2020, didn't do it because of the pandemic. I did, well, actually that's not true. I did it because of the pandemic, because I wanted to make masks. But I didn't do it for a business. I just did it because I wanted an embroidery machine. I saw one that was being sold on, I believe it was HSN, QVC, one of them, and I decided to buy it. I didn't do any research. It was priced right, I thought. It was an embroidery combo. I believe it was an embroidery sewing machine, and it was like the Project Runway embroidery, brother embroidery machine. I don't even remember what the number was, but I bought it, and didn't realize at the time, because I did no research, wasn't thinking, just got it. It was a 4x4. That was the largest you could do. Now, of course, on the sales pitch was, oh, you can do bigger, you can do you know, there's a way to do bigger designs and so forth and so on. Yes, with the multi-positioning, if you wanted to do that, you could go a little bigger, but it wasn't what I wanted. Once I got it, brought it home, or got it home, opened it up, and I think I had looked at several YouTube videos before it actually arrived to kind of not do the same thing I did last time when I had my singer, is not to get the machine and not have a clue, not even know how to get started. I actually did look at some YouTube videos to have a clue as to how to get started. So once I got the machine, I turned it on, set it up, was doing, you know, practicing as I was advised to get some towels and practice on, which I did. I bought a whole stack of white towels from Sam's, inexpensive, and I'm going to embroider on these towels and learn how to do it. And I messed up several of them like you normally would do when you're trying to learn a new project. And it quickly became clear to me that the designs were just too small for my liking. Had nothing to do with anything about trying to do a business or do any sales or anything like that, because I understand you can do wonderful things with a 4x4. Yes, you can make money. Yes, you can start a little business, and you can move forward from that. So I'm not trying to deter anybody from getting a 4x4, and if that's what you have, then you do what you can with that and do the best that you can with that. But for me personally, I was not satisfied because I wanted to do things for myself in bigger designs. So after having it for about a week or so, I decided to return it. You had 30 days or whatever to return it, and I did return it and decided that's not what I want. It's not large enough. So start looking at affordable embroidery machines that were larger, and I saw, I believe it might even been on Amazon, the Brother. Both of the machines are Brother. I've only had Brother embroidery machines except for that Singer. So the first one was a Brother. The second one that I did get from Amazon was a SE 1900. And SE is Sewing and Embroidery Combo 1900, which I still have. And I love that machine. And I love it so much I actually named it Inspiration, because that machine inspired me to get this one that's back here. But once I got the SE 1900, it could embroider up to a 5x7, and not as large as I wanted it still, but big enough to enjoy, big enough to make designs that I really like doing for myself. But again, like I said, I still didn't do any research. I just got lucky that turned out to be a really good machine, good enough to the point where, like I said, I still have it. I was able to start my little business with it, and started off doing masks because it was the pandemic and everybody was wearing face masks, and I started making my own face masks for myself. People liked them, and so I was encouraged to make them to sell, and that's what I did. So that was the beginning of where I am now. But one thing I didn't think about at the time, because I didn't know, because I didn't do the proper research on the machine, was that being a single needle machine, if you have these big, beautiful, complex designs, which I tend to get, you have multiple thread changes. I mean, sometimes I would have 14, 15 thread change. I picked this beautiful design with the butterfly for hair and what have you that would fit in a 5x7, but I think it had 20 some odd color stops. And doing that on a single needle machine is tedious. On and off, on and off, on and off, on and off. And so my son, my youngest son and I were talking together. He was watching me do my embroidery, and we were just chit-chatting, and I told him, I said, you know, I love embroidery, but this is tedious, constantly having to change needles, change the thread with the one needle. And he said, yeah, I see that. So light bulb comes in the head, get a multi-needle machine. I did look at the prices, and I saw some 5 needle machine, which is what I was thinking about getting, a 5 or 6 needle machine. You know, I'm thinking, yippee, this is going to be great and everything. Again, no research. I mean, come on. So I ended up getting a 10 needle machine, not the one back here. Didn't do my research. I looked at the 10 needle price. 10 needle price. Got the machine. I had that machine. Matter of fact, day one with that machine was a nightmare. All the way up to several months of nightmare. And I was so regretful. I was tearful because here I've invested all this energy, time, money with the hopes of making money, expanding my business, because now I have a multi-needle machine. I can do multiple colors and things are quick and so forth and so on. The machine didn't work. Won't mention the name. Can't get me to do that. But I was blessed to be able to not have that machine anymore and was able to get this machine, which is actually the machine I wanted in the first place once I decided to get a multi-needle machine. Didn't want to spend the money. Glad I did though. I love my machine. I am so glad I got my 10 needle brother machine. The only other machine that I would even consider at this moment, based upon what I know, that I would get different than the brother would be a Melco. And that is that EM 1600X whatever. The one that the wonderful Angelina Jasmina has. She has a website. She has done fantastically well. She has over 200,000 subscribers. She's been doing her channel, I think 2-3 years, man, more than 2. I would say 3-4 years max. And she's already has 200,000 subscriber, making tons of money. And I mean, check her website out, check her channel out. She's fantastic. You'll learn a lot. But anyway, that would be the only other machine that I would consider getting at this point. If I didn't get another brother, it would definitely be a Melco. But I've done research. So that was number one. So my advice is, do your research before you buy a machine, especially if you're going to invest in an expensive machine. Do your research. Make sure you know what it is you're getting, what you want to do with it, the price, how you're going to finance it or pay for it or whatever it is that you're going to do. Do your research before making the investment on any machine, even the single needle 4x4. Do your research. So number 2, listening to several different experts about embroidery. Now what I did do that was smart was I did buy a couple of books and I read them. So that was smart. So I knew a little bit about what the industry said was the right way of doing certain things. So hearing things on YouTube from different people, some of the information was contradictory. Some of the information I don't think was accurate. Some of the information was based upon, this is how I do it, this is the quickest way to do it, or this is whatever, cheapest way of doing it, whatever the situation may be, and not necessarily what the real experts are saying how to do it. So I did read books, and I did look at several different YouTube channels. But why I said it was the wrong thing to do, I was working, hadn't retired yet, and everything that 1 or 2 or even 3 of the different people I was listening to said you needed, I went and bought. I bought this, I bought that, I bought this tool, I bought that tool, I bought this hoop, I bought that hoop. I just spent money getting things that I probably didn't really need. I bought all kinds of different stabilizers that I probably didn't need. What I really needed, I probably didn't even buy. But I spent a lot of money on things that I probably didn't need. I still have them and I have found use for them, but I didn't have to spend the money. And when you're first starting out, that's not the best thing to do. Get what you need. Learn what it is that you're going to need. Find out what it is you really want to do, and then find out what you need for that particular niche, if you want to say it that way. But don't just buy everything that somebody recommends to you or suggests. It's just that, a suggestion. It doesn't mean it's written in stone. It's not the Holy Grail. It's not that you can't function with or without it. It's just what they use. So it's good to get the advice, even from me, but not necessarily everything that I may have or the next YouTube content creator has or what have you. It's basically what they use and what has worked out for them. So to keep from spending a lot of unnecessary money, don't listen to everything that everybody says and run out and buy that product. It doesn't hurt to research the product when you hear about it. Think about it and see if this is going to work for you and if it's going to be beneficial for what it is that you're doing. Thirdly, that was kind of a combo of 2 and 3, is buying everything that was suggested. So don't get everything that people suggest. Not everything. Some things are very important to get. Like, you need to have various types of stabilizers. You need to have your cutaway. You need to have your tearaway. You need to have mesh. And you may even need some fusion stabilizers. There are different weights of each one of those stabilizers. Now, do you have to have all these different weights and what have you? Me personally, I don't think so. But cutaway, tearaway, topper, that's that film looking, cellophane looking, if you're going to do tiles and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's 3 or 4, maybe 5 at the max stabilizers that you need. And there's a lot of information on there. Now, I'm going to throw out a name. John Deere. D-E-E-R-E. John Deere, not the tractor, the gentleman that has been doing, he's considered the top guru in embroidery. I mention him because he is the nation guru in embroidery. He's been doing it all of his life, and his family did it practically all of their lives. So he is the godfather of embroidery. I listen to him. If he tells you something, then he's pretty much telling you what you need. Not saying you got to get everything he does or everything that he buys, because the embroidery machine that he recommends is expensive and it's commercial. You may not want it or need it. And he's big on digitizing. That is his field. He's a digitizer. He is the godfather in digitizing, but which is what you need to embroider. But I listen to him, and he's kind of my fact check. If I hear something from somebody else that I don't think sounds quite right, I'll check and see what he's saying, just to kind of get a feel. So just realize that there are certain people out here that are considered experts. Number 4, trying to learn too many different crafts at one thing. Now, this is a channel that discusses embroidery. I probably will discuss other crafting things later on as we go, but my channel says so too we begin embroidery. So I keep my focus on embroidery because that is my mainstay, and that's what I feel that I have the best knowledge. I'm not going to consider myself an expert, nowhere near, haven't been doing it long enough, but I have learned a lot, trial and error. I've learned a lot, and that's the lane that I intend to stay in. Now, will I take a fork here and a fork there to talk about sublimation maybe one day, talk about rhinestones maybe one day, but that's not my forte. Vinyl, crickets, I have all those things. And that's where I said trying to do too many crafting things. I got a cricket. I had a cricket years ago when I was scrapbooking, so I was familiar with cricket. I had the ones where you had to actually put the little things into the I can't even think of what you call it, but you had to connect the design to the machine. It wasn't something that was done over wireless. So I probably have that in storage somewhere, my old Cricut machine. And so Cricut I was familiar with, but wanted to do some vinyl. I thought I got the Cricut machine, went out and bought tons of vinyl. Every time there was a vinyl sale, I bought vinyl. I have so many rolls of vinyls, and I think I've cut 2 of them since I've had it in 2 years. Didn't need it. Don't do Cricut a lot. Not to say I won't, but right now I don't do vinyl. What else did I get? Rhinestones. I love rhinestones. I've done rhinestones. I will continue to do rhinestones. I don't consider myself nowhere near expert in rhinestones. I do need to take some more classes to learn to get better. I've cut out I've created templates in, I believe it was Silhouette, because I have a Silhouette machine and a Cricut machine, and I have the Cricut Joy, and I have the just stuff. Like I said, too much stuff. Somebody said go get it, and I ran and got it. But anyway, I have a Cricut and a Silhouette. Never used my Silhouette, but I have used the Cricut. But I do use Silhouette Design Center because you can create easier in that software rhinestone templates. So I've done it once or twice, and but I'm not an expert, nowhere near. But I love rhinestones. Rhinestones are beautiful. I kind of love rhinestones like I like embroidery. So that'll be something that I will continue to do without being forced to do it, because I like doing it. I like how it turns out. Not going to say I like doing it. I like how it turns out. So with that being said, I might present some of that. But again, I had to put a stop. Now I did move into sublimation because the more I listen to people talk about sublimations and doing cups and tumblers and different items that to be sublimated, I said, oh my goodness, there's money to be made in sublimation. And it is. I haven't made any money, very little, in sublimation, because that's not my forte. And I haven't, put emphasis in that. But I have a Sawgrass 1000 sublimation machine. Ain't cheap. The ink is not cheap. The paper is not cheap. Do I like the product? Yes. Is it easy to do once you learn the ins and outs of it? Pretty much so. But then you got to get a heat press, which I have. So those aren't cheap either. I went from 12 by 12. Now I have a 16 by 20. And I have a 12 by 15 auto press, Cricut. What can I say? Get stuff that you don't necessarily have to have. So, it's money. Do what you think is best for you, but these are just the things that I'm saying that I did wrong starting off, to have been embroidering 2 years now. So that's a lot of stuff that I've gotten in a 2-year period of time. My bank account tells me that anyway. And number 5 for the things that I did wrong that I could think about today was not being consistent with my YouTube channel. Now I started the YouTube channel in February of 2020. That's what they say. I don't think I did. I think it was February 2021. That's when it was, February 2021. Because I had my machine about a year. So that makes sense. Because I was thinking that didn't sound right. But February 2021, had been embroidering for about a year. And what made me decide to do it was a lot of people were coming asking me questions about how to do this, how to do that, how to do this, and I was answering their questions. So I realized, girl, you know a little something, so why not? Something to do. It's fun. It's work. It's work. And I was working when I started. So working, trying to do a business and trying to do a channel, trying to learn and trying to be consistent was difficult. And then having illnesses to crop up in the middle of all of that and having to have surgery and the pandemic. I mean, it just became a lot. And I ebbed and flowed. I wasn't consistent. My channel could have grown so much bigger by now had I been consistent. So that was something I didn't do right. So now let's get away from the negative and start talking about the positive. The things that I think I did right with embroidery. First, I bought Brothers embroidery machines. I am very satisfied with both of my Brother machines. I would recommend a Brother machine to anybody that's interested. I would recommend my SE 1900 is now SE 2000 now, so it's upgraded. Don't know what the biggest difference is other than the price. But if you can afford it, get the SE 2000. Don't get the 1900 because, well, for me, I always like to get the best that's available that I can afford. So, but the SE 19 or the SE 2000 both are combo sewing and embroidery machines, and the sewing field is a 5x7. It's the largest hoop, so you can do a lot with that. Brother 10 needle machine. I love all the bells and whistles and the things that it does over some of the other machines that don't have automated this and automated that. I'm one of these people. I don't like to tinker that much. I like to push a button. If I can push a button and it goes, I'm happy. So I love the auto threading. I love my camera. I love my tracing. I love my design center. I love all of the features that you get with a Brother machine that you don't get with some of these other machines. And it's compact enough, even though they consider it a home / commercial machine. It's lightweight considering some of the 15 needles, because once you get out of 10 needles, I think they have a 12 needle. I don't know who does that, but you usually hop from a 10 needle up to a 15 or a 16 needle. And I think the highest that I've seen has been an 18 needle. But once you get into a 15 needle, it's considered commercial, so you have more weight. So if you're not in your home, that can be a little much to try to crowd into an apartment. So for me, that would not work. Plus the weight of it doesn't make it mobile, and I don't even know if there's a place to take it to get your commercial machines maintained. Usually you have to maintain them yourself or pay whatever it may cost to have an embroidery machine technician, if you can find one in your area, to come into your home. So that would be an issue for me. That's another reason why I would do Melco if I didn't do another Brother, is because they are connected with the computer. You have to have a laptop to operate a Melco, and the technician can actually kind of troubleshoot what's going on with your machine via the computer and walk you through most of the things. So I love that. But anyway, I'm very happy that I bought both Brothers machines and wouldn't. Now there's a Janome embroidery machine that sounds really interesting but it kind of is on the same level with the Brother Luminaire or the Baby Lock Solaris in that price range, and it gives me comfort, and I'm happy I have the 10 needle. I don't even use my SC 1900 machine hardly ever anymore, which I kind of feel bad because she's sitting over here by herself, lonely. But I did name her Inspiration for a reason, because she inspired me to get my 10 needle. And my 10 needle machine is named Grateful. So I have Inspiration and I have Grateful. My SC19 inspired me to get the 10 needle, and I'm grateful that I was able to do it and blessed. Number 3, I bought, and I mentioned this with the things that I did wrong. This is what I did right. I bought books on embroidery, and I listened to YouTube channels. I learned a lot, and I'm still learning. I still listen to YouTube channels. I pick up information that I don't know. That's what you have to do. When I had that Singapore tour way back 20 years ago, you could not get any help for your machine. I had my embroidery machine, and I went to an embroidery store to get lessons. They sold the same machine, and they treated me like I was an alien. And I know now I didn't buy it from them, so they was like, forget you. But the thing is, nobody would give me help. Nobody would even tell me what to do. There was no way of finding anyone that would give me any kind of assistance. But now, you can get every assistant under the world on YouTube. I just Google. Well, not Google. Well, sometimes I do Google, but I'll go into YouTube and then I'll type in a question, whatever it is that I want to know, how to do X, Y, Z, and all of these things. You have to filter them out to find out, if it's an ad or if it's really going to help you, and then you'll get a lot of, frogs before you actually get to the prince. But you can find good content on YouTube. And like I said, I bought a couple of good books that I have read, and I use them for references, and it really helped me feel comfortable with what I do and comfortable in giving advice. That was the other thing. Having a YouTube channel, being a content creator, people do ask me questions about, what about this, what about that, how do you do this, so forth and so on. And I like to give them answers based upon, 1, my experience, and number 2, what I have read that the experts say. So I try not to just give my, oh, well, I do it this way just because it's quick and easy and down and dirty, unless I tell you that's why I'm doing it. But usually this is how I do it, and that is based upon what I've learned from people that I trust in the industry and from the books that I've read. Number 4, I limited my inventory. Now, I did listen to one of the YouTube content creators that I watched tell a story about buying a bunch of inventory and finding out they didn't need it, and that was the wrong thing to do, because you can get things in bulk and you can save money and all of that kind of stuff. But if you don't have people wanting to buy what you have on inventory, then you have a lot of dead weight. You have a lot of stuff sitting around. Now, I still do have quite a few t-shirts. I have quite a few cricket shirts, and I have lots of material and stuff that I purchased for masks, and now we're not even making masks anymore. But I didn't go out and buy a whole boatload of t-shirts in this color and that color and so forth and so on, and just a bunch of stuff hoping that I'm able to sell it. Now, I wait until I get a customer, and whatever it is that they want, then I try to find the least expensive place to buy it. So I get what I need when I need it, and don't just have a whole bunch of stuff sitting around. I'm in an apartment, so I don't have the room, number 1. You can see this back here. Everything is full, and I have tons of these all over the place. I'll do a tour of my room on one of my videos, but I don't have a lot of stuff. and I'm glad I don't, because that's more money wasted. So don't buy up a bunch of inventory, especially if you're just getting started and you don't really know what it is you're going to need. Wait until you have a need for it. Then if you try to get it as inexpensive as possible. Now, if you're doing sublimations and cups and different things like that, and you are doing an Etsy shop or something like that, that's different. You need your inventory. You have to have it. You can't function with an Etsy store, a Shopify store, or something like that, and you're doing embroidery or even sublimations without having some inventory. You would be having to wait at the mercy of UPS and the mailman and so forth and so on, FedEx and what have you. But if you're small and doing things custom mostly, you can find wholesalers that will get your product to you quickly in a matter of 2-3 days, usually, especially now that the pandemic has died down pretty much. So don't pile up a bunch of inventory. That's my advice. And then the last thing is kind of piggyback onto the last things of the things I did wrong. Well, the last thing that I did right was to start my YouTube channel. I am so happy I started this channel, especially now since I'm retired, and I'm feeling a lot better than I have in a year, pretty much. I had some surgery done, so I still have pain, lots of it, but not the same kind of pain and not as debilitating as the pain was before. So I'm able to do more, so I'm able to spend more time focusing on my channel to get it to grow, get myself in a position where I want to be happy with the results of my channel and what I'm able to produce and put out there for my community. And I'm looking forward to growing my community as large as I can grow it, and putting out as much content as I can. Hopefully good content, content that is relevant, content that is up to date, content that is reliable, and develop a community relationship with the people that have subscribed and view my channel. That's why I'm starting the live. As a reminder, the live will be on this coming Tuesday, the 14th, starting at 8 p.m. Please tune in, because I want to get to know you. I want you to get to know me. And with that, we can continue to help each other, because that's the whole purpose of this channel. So I am so happy I started this channel. So I just wanted to throw these things out there. Hopefully it wasn't too windy, and hopefully it's useful. I know a lot of times we learn how to avoid mistakes by listening to other people's mistakes, and we learn how to do something based upon how someone else did it and their results. So I thought that this would be a good thing to share with everybody. So thank you for stopping by. Hope you got something out of this. If you enjoyed my video, as usual, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not already. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can be notified the next time that I put up a video, so you can stay up to date. And I'm looking forward to chatting with you on Tuesday. Take care.